As a combat veteran, it fucks me up every time the press relitigates Afghanistan. It's like I'm not allowed to heal from this wound. I thought it was bad when I got home in 2010 and found out all that rah patriotism was just to get me to go and that nobody cared that I'd just been to war. Oh, Afghanistan's still going on? Oh man, why didn't you go to Iraq? The moment the Iraq War started, it's like Afghanistan stopped existing in the American psyche. It just became the war in the Middle East, and it was bad. At best, a political football kicked from administration to administration because nobody knew what to do with it, until Trump decided to make a deal with the Taliban, circumventing the Afghan government that we'd spent 20 years protecting, releasing 5,000 Taliban prisoners to go do terrorism again, and then downsizing our troops in the country to 2,500. He tried to make this deal with terrorists at Camp David, and apparently he wanted to schedule it on 9/11. But don't worry, he brought a 9/11 conspiracy theorist to ground zero on this 9/11, so he still spat all over the place that on the day in 2001, he said, oh, well, now my building's the tallest, which was a lie. And I don't care who was in charge when the entire thing fell apart, because I listened to the military leaders who were like, hey, this is a disaster. Why are you doing this? This is going to set us up for failure. And then it was a miracle that only 13 people died and over 100,000 were successfully evacuated. And when that was all going down, it was really distressing to watch the American people pretend that we went there for no good reason, or for oil, or for imperialism. We went from ambivalence to ignorant disgust. And at the time, I'd spent 11 years trying to figure out how to communicate my experiences to people without them shutting down. All of my communication strategies stopped working. Every time I got on stage and talked to people about that war, they shut down immediately. And it felt like, oh, that ambivalence that you didn't like before, that was the golden years. Because now, instead of not caring about that war you fought in, they're mad about that war you fought in, and they don't want to learn anything about it. But I kept at it, and I kept trying to communicate to people my experiences there, and I watched the press relitigate this war again and again and again, each time Trump comes out to spin another lie about it. Then I had to watch young kids who don't remember 9/11 spreading around bin Laden's letter to America as if it was anything other than a disgusting manifesto by a madman, because he said 2 words in an order that they liked. I've watched a narrative form that terrorism doesn't exist, that it's just a word that states use when they choose to do violence against others, and those others do violence in response. Yeah, putting grenades in children's pockets and then pushing them out in front of American convoys, that's not what good guys do. Finding and killing interpreters' families for the crime of interpreting language is not what the good guys do. Hijacking planes and flying them into buildings is not a good guy move. At the same time, Republicans are trying to pretend that they've always been against war, especially wars in the Middle East. Just ignore who started them. Those are Obama's wars, actually, because he continued to play the hand that was dealt to him. And really, they're Biden's wars, because he was around then and also when it was over. Just ignore the Republican at the beginning and they're in the middle. All the while, every month it seems, I get a message from a guy I haven't talked to in years about how one of our mutual friends decided to become a statistic. It happens so often that I cannot remember them all. And I don't know if that's a defense mechanism or simply a numbers game. This country convinced a generation it was their obligation to go to war, and it started 2 of them. And then when those kids got home, all brain damaged and battle scarred, the collective response was, yeah, here's a character on Grey's Anatomy. Just an absolute caricature of what PTSD symptoms look like. It stretched on for so long that the children of the first wave of Afghanistan veterans set boots on the ground. And now the general response to over 20 years of warfare is, shouldn't have done that. And you should have known better. And now you should stop talking about it, because we don't like it. The news is allowed to relitigate it, Every time the guy trying to become the president so he doesn't go to jail spins another lie about it. But we don't really like when you talk about it. So, we're going to call you a baby killer and remind you of all your dead friends and how they deserved it every time you make a video or get on stage. So I gotta say, the generalized internet and American psyche, kind of a dick move. Not super shocked that vets keep killing themselves when this is your response to them. What if we didn't do that? What if we listened to some of the vets and their experiences in this thing? And what if we didn't relitigate whether it was a good idea to do 20 years of war or not every time an autocrat tries to use that war to bludgeon his opponent? I don't know, just an idea. Anyway, I don't regret any of my decisions. I was a medic and I did good. But some of you should question yours.